way the real wealth is being real myself. My life has seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. It's time to switch it up, put the hip shit on the shelf. Cause the way the real wealth is being real myself. My life has seen the glory of the coming of the left. I can do it by myself, so I'm asking for help. Money. All you have is not wrong being wealthy. Like Kanye West says, having money is not everything, not having it is. No, Deuteronomy 8:18 says God gives us the ability to create wealth. No, it's the love of money that's wrong. You don't like money so much, why he doesn't go to work for it, right? He doesn't care about money. I'm just trying to leave a legacy for my son. Not everything, but when you got it, you can do some cool stuff. Now, your host for Talking Money in the Morning, Financial Health Network, the Wealthy Class, Mr. H Cortez.
Good morning, Black World, and welcome to Talking Money in the Morning Live with your main man, H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur, where I do my absolute best to bring practical yet proven wealth building strategies to working men and women all over this great nation of ours. Truly an honor, privilege, and a blessing to come to you live and direct from the Generational Wealth Building Conference Studios here in St. Louis, Missouri. If you are in the Atlanta area and you want to learn how to build generational wealth, it's going down April 6th through the 8th. My man Evan Jefferson and the Black Billionaires Club are putting together the biggest conference of its kind in Atlanta, GA, where you'll learn everything on how to build wealth, even a workshop for the babies, a workshop for the women. They're going to be talking about investing in stocks, crypto, real estate, traditional businesses. It's just going to be a phenomenal opportunity. So you want to make your way to Atlanta, GA, April 6th through the 8th. To learn more, go to wealth.joincorteznow.com. Wealth.joincorteznow.com. And that website gives you all the details. You can buy your weekend pass or you can buy tickets for each individual event as well. Either way, you want to be in the building come April 6th through the 8th. Do me a huge favor. If you're checking us out on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you have not already subscribed to the channel. Guys, we are running out of time to hit 2,000 subscribers for the month of March. Why is my tablet saying I'm offline? Let me see. Come on, I'm not offline. All right, so let me do this. YouTube on my computer. So I was going to give you the updated stats on where we are as far as subscribers are. We're trying to reach 2,000 by the end of the month, which is the end of this week. So if you have not already subscribed, hit the subscribe button so that we can be certain to hit our goals, reaching 2,000 subscribers. And make sure you interact with the show as well. I can see your comments in real time on Facebook, on YouTube. So let me know exactly where you're from. And also shout out the name of your business or brand. I love to give you a business shout out. You never know who's watching the stream today or who will be watching the replay that wants to learn a little bit more about what it is that you do. So I encourage you to interact and engage with the show. You might meet yourself a new friend, new business partner, and or a new customer. So you got to take that seriously, guys. Same thing with you guys on Facebook. Go ahead and share the stream if you have not already shared it. You guys know that is the price of admission to Talking Money in the Morning Live is a simple share. If you do that for me, we get the show out in front of more and more people. And then Facebook will start pushing the show out to more and more people as well. So I got YouTube up here, but it's not showing me on this particular screen how many subscribers we have. Nevertheless, we will make it. What's going on, Vivian? Wealthy women win. I love that, Lisa D. We got to help our sisters and brothers out there, but nothing wrong with helping the sisters specifically. Yes, go ahead and hit the like button to the page as well as sharing the stream so that you will get notifications when we go live. Not just today, but all throughout the day, man. I'm always trying to drop value. I put tons of great articles out there on that page as well. I have guest appearances and features, all sorts of stuff. If you're trying to build wealth, then you want to check out the Financial Health Mentor page and stay in tune there as well. Today's show is also brought to you by the Black Wealth Movement, man, and the Financial Freedom Fighters team. If you are serious about building wealth, we want to help you. I want to help you personally. So all you got to do is send me an inbox. I'll show you what our program is all about, how we can help you minimize taxes, eliminate debt, free up the cash you need to start investing. And we even teach you how investments work. We do not invest your money for you, but we do teach you how investments work. Looks like my camera is smudged up. We do teach you how investments work, so you'll know exactly what to look for in a solid investment that's going to pay at least double-digit returns on your money. So again, inbox me and I'll get to the details on that. Today's show, also a big thank you to Mona Johnson and all the folks who came out to hang out with me in Kansas City over the weekend. That was an amazing opportunity. Can't wait to go back. I think June 23rd, we're coming back and we're going to do it all over again. So if you missed us this time, then we'll be back in a couple months. So be on the lookout for the event to do that event. I'm sorry, I'm trying to restart my tablet. I just like it. My monitor over there versus on the screen. So if you missed that, then no big deal. We'll be back. April the 18th, I will be in Atlanta, Georgia, in the Fayetteville area with a wealth workshop from 7 to 9. I'll get the address and get an event up there for you guys on that. If you want to come hang out and you're in the Atlanta area, looking like the 1st of May, I'll be in Cleveland doing the same thing. So if you want your man to come show up in your town, let's talk about how we can make that happen, because we've got to get the word of generational wealth out in our community and get folks some strategies that will help them along the way. So today we're talking about how your thought process manifests into life circumstances. We struggle to believe that thoughts are things, and I think that's a huge problem that we have. But I tell you guys all the time that all the universe knows how to do is say yes. And what is it saying yes to primarily? What's going on, Cedric Jenkins? It's primarily saying yes to your thought life. And not just your random thought life, but more so your habitual thought life. So this particular book is Why Not You? How to Be Rich. How do I shift my thoughts to pro money every day when I don't love money? That is a very, very good question, Elle. And a lot of people don't love money because the way they were taught about money. I think you start thinking about falling in love with what money can do for you as a resource. Not necessarily falling in love with money, but start falling in love with what money can do for you as a resource. Thank you, Monica. She went and checked YouTube for us. 1837 is subscribers on YouTube. We're trying to top 2,000 this month, guys. So if you have not already, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel so we can keep growing that thing. So yes, I would absolutely say, Elle, start falling in love with the positive things that money can do for you in your life, and the resource of what money is. And I know a lot of people have some very ill thoughts about money because of the way we were trained and raised. But just think about it like this. When you go to your kitchen sink and you turn the water on and you turn the tap on and water just free flows, right? Imagine what your life would be like if you could not do that. I want you guys to really think about this, because this is something we take for granted. You go to the kitchen sink and you want water for whatever reason, to drink, to cook with, to wash your hands. It just naturally comes to you that, hey, this is what it is. This is what we do. But imagine if you could not do that. want you to think about how free flowing what seems to be free resource of water does for you in your life. Now, I want you to take your mind off water, and now I want you to think about, imagine if you can go to a spigot or a bank account or a debit card or some source and turn on money in that same way, and it just flows freely, just like water flows in your house. It's just a resource, y'all, just like any other resource. You want water, clean, fresh water in abundance, don't you? It's just a resource. Why? Because you can do so much with that resource. That water is the substance of life, right? Well, in a capitalistic democracy such as America, I wouldn't put money on the same level as the substance of life, but it's right up there. It's right up there in America. It's hard to do much of anything without money. So you want, just like you want water in abundance, just like you want air in abundance as a resource, just like you want love, peace, and joy as resources in abundance, then we have to retrain ourselves to understand that it's okay to want to have money and abundance. And that's why I do this show every day. It's a kind of help. It's my hope that I will help people break down some of these chains and some of these ill-conceived notions about money and the things that are keeping people from it and keeping people from attracting it into their life. I guarantee you, El, because of the way you feel about money, you're not attracting any of it into your life because you despise it. You do not attract or become that which you despise. And if you despise money, you despise wealthy people, then that's part of the issue. I say do like I'm doing, man. You guys hear me talk about money all the time. Why? I'm extremely focused on money for the next 5 to 7 years because I'm going to get it as an issue out of the way for my life. I'm never going to have to focus on money the way I'm focused on it right now ever again for the rest of my life. Problem is, most people do not take the time to actually focus on it so that they can attract it to them, so they can gain it, so they can gain control over it, so they can make it work for them. Therefore, you struggle all your life based on your thought process about money. So we're going to talk about how your thought process literally becomes your circumstances. All right. So this book, How to Be Rich, thank you to Evan Jefferson and Black Billionaires Club. This was a gift to me the last time I was in the Atlanta area. Why not you? How to Become Rich. Compact wisdom from the world's greatest wealth builders, including Napoleon Hill, Joseph Murray, Wallace D. Wattles, and Robert Collier. So basically, this is a little compilation book with excerpts from some of the greatest wealth philosophies that has ever existed, especially in the 20th century, right? A lot of their publications were written in the last century, and this little book has a compilation excerpts from some great works. So it's kind of like cliff notes of wealth building, right? So it's amazing. But this particular section, we're talking about your thought life, right? I told you all the universe knows how to do is say yes. What is it saying yes to? It's saying yes to your habitual thoughts, right? So you'll have a thought that pops up in your head, and sometimes you can immediately dismiss that thoughts, right? Yeah, this is a good one. It's got, I mean, literally, it's got the secrets to getting rich, Think and Grow Rich. It's got the science of getting rich. It's got a little bit of everything in it. It's really powerful, Cedric, really powerful. And of course, you know, you're going to go get it from your cashback mall and earn some cash back, right? So when you want to buy a title like this, the best way to do it is go to cashbackmall.financialhealthmentor.com. sign up for your free cashback mall, then you buy your books and you will get a cashback. And then one of the things that I like about one of the bookstores, it's a used bookstore. So a lot of times, the last time I ordered from that bookstore, I got like 7 or 8 books for like 25 bucks because some of them were used. I got some great titles. I got Think and Grow Rich, a Black Choice for like $1 or something, right? So pretty cool. Cashbackmall.financialhealthmentor.com. Might as well earn some cash back if you're going to spend some money. So it says here's what it says about thoughts. It says there are no secret thoughts. There are no secret thoughts. Thank you for that. I'm grateful for my resource. Yes, and money is just one of those resources, L, and that's all it is. We sometimes try to make money our God. Sometimes we try to make money the devil. It's just a resource. It's just a tool. And as a man who likes to build with his hands, there's nothing like having all the tools that you can. So for whatever job you're trying to get accomplished, you need the right tool. Well, guess what? A lot of things that happens in America, you need cashbackmall.financial. Yes, that is it, L. So you can sign up for free. It's a free cashback mall. And then anytime you shop or buy anything from that mall, you earn cash back, right? Walmart, Best Buy, a lot of great stores in there, Dollar General, places you probably shop at already. You can shop online and earn some cash back. But when you're operating in your life, you need a certain set of tools, right? And money is just one of them. And it'll help you in your life. So it says on thoughts, there are no secret thoughts, right? Even those thoughts that you have going on in your head and you think there's nobody there but you, the universe is answering to that. The universe is saying yes. So whatever you think about money, I hate money, the universe says you sure do. So you'll never have any, right? So you got to be careful with your thoughts. There's no secret thoughts. Let us radically alter our thoughts, and we will be astonished at the rapid transformation it will affect in the material conditions of our lives. We may imagine that thought can be kept secret, but it cannot. It rapidly crystallizes into habit, and habit solidifies into circumstances. Here's what I want you to get. There's no such thing as a secret thought. Your thought life radically and immediately, it says it rapidly crystallizes into habits. So those things that you're thinking on, it doesn't take long for those things to become your habits. And your habits will solidify into your circumstances. So here's what I'm going to break down. I think it gives about 7 or 8 of these scenarios. And I want you to let me know if you agree or disagree. Cool? So we're going to put agree or disagree. And if you disagree, expound a little bit. Let's have an open dialogue about this. So here's the first one. It says, bestial thoughts crystallize into habits of drunkenness and sensuality, which solidify into circumstances of destitution and disease. The name of the book is Why Not You? How to Become Rich. Compact wisdom from the world's greatest wealth builders. Why Not You? How to Become Rich. It's the name of the book. So the first one, it says, here's a thought life that a lot of people are leading. And when they're trying to figure out how to overcome or change their circumstances, they're struggling because they don't realize that their circumstances is a manifestation of their thought life. Bestial thoughts crystallize into habits of drunkenness and sensuality, which solidify into circumstances of destitution and disease. Do we agree or disagree with that one? Do we agree or disagree with that one? Bestial thoughts crystallize into habits of drunkenness and sensuality. which solidify into circumstances of destitution and disease. See, most people are trying to change their outward circumstances, but they're not changing their inward thought life. They're trying to change their outward circumstances, but they're not changing their inward thought life. Right? Elle says she agree. Anybody else agree? J Miles says agree. All right, so we're gonna do this in two parts. Today we're doing the negative. Tomorrow we'll do the positive. Right? We'll do the negative today. Tomorrow we'll do the positive. Here's the next one. Impure thoughts of every kind crystallize into enervating and confusing habits, which solidify into distracting and adverse circumstances. Impure thoughts solidify into distracting and adverse circumstances. Right? See, you got to really think about this. And one of the things that we tend to do is when we have a negative thought pop up in our life, when we have a bestial thought or an impure thought, we will kick that thought out. But the problem with kicking that thought out is we don't replace it with a positive thought. We'll kick the thought out, but because we don't replace it with a positive thought, it comes right back sevenfold. Scripture tells us that you can remove and clean your house of a demon. And because you don't fill that empty space with the opposite or a positive force, then that demon comes back with 7 of its friends. And that's what we do. We have a negative thought. Oh man, why I'm thinking about that? And we'll kick it out. But we don't replace it with a positive thought. And 3 minutes later, that thought is back stronger and more vigorous than ever before. Now we go from thinking a thought to meditating on a thought. And it's your habitual thought life that solidifies into circumstances. The habitual thought life. So the second one was impure thoughts of every kind crystallize into enervating. I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't know what enervating and confusing habits, which solidify into distracting and adverse circumstances. So it's the impure thoughts. If you're in some adverse conditions right now, it's because your habitual thought life is impure. That's all it's saying, right? Here's the third one. Thoughts of fear, doubt, and indecision crystallize into weak, soft, and irresolute habits, which then solidify into circumstances of failure, indigence, and slavish dependence. So now we start to see why, especially us entrepreneurs, and we're trying to encourage other people to see and realize and live the benefits of entrepreneurship and strive for financial freedom. We start to see now why they just don't get it. Because let me read it again. It says thoughts of fear, doubt, and indecision. So this is a thought pattern that we're dealing with, Cedric, when we're trying to help people overcome their money challenges. This is the thought pattern that we're dealing with. Fear, doubt, and indecision. How do we know this is the thought pattern that we're dealing with? Because it manifests in a weak, soft, irresolute habit. Then it crystallizes or it solidifies into a circumstance of failure, indigence, and slavish dependence. Right? Do we know people who have slavish dependence on various things? Right? Can't seem to think for themselves. They're slavishly dependent on others and everything else. Jesus, what's going on, King? This is why. This is the thought life of that person. It's based on fear, doubt, and indecision. Does that mean that we're not fearful from time to time? No. What that means is these people, because it's not about the random thought of fear that you overcome. It's about this thought life is your habitual thought life. These are the things that you think on all the time. Fear, doubt, indecision. These are the things that some people are thinking on all the time. As a result of them thinking a fearful thought all the time, as a result of them thinking indecision all the time, just can't ever make their mind up about anything. Where y'all want to go? I don't know. Where you want to go? I don't know. I want to go wherever you want to go. Well, I want to go wherever you want to go. You can't even make your mind up about lunch. That thought process will crystallize into weak, soft, irresolute habits, and it will solidify into circumstances of failure, indigence, and slavish dependence. So now, Jesus, when we're trying to help people break free of financial bondage, when we see this show up in their life, then we know that we really have to help them deal with fear. We really have to help them deal with doubt, because that's what's going on. It's not about us. It's not about our business opportunity. It's not about entrepreneurship. It's not about what the school system taught or didn't teach. What this has more to do with is fear and doubt, indecision. So that's what we're really dealing with. Right? Here's the next one, number 4. Lazy thoughts crystallize into habits of unseemliness and dishonesty, which solidify into circumstances of disgust and beggary. Lazy thoughts. I'll do it tomorrow. I really don't feel like I don't got the energy tomorrow. Yeah, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it next week. I'm going to do it one day. I'm going to do it someday. There's not a day of the week called someday. Some of y'all going to catch that a little bit later. There's no such day of the week called one day, called someday. Even if you have to put something off, don't say I'm going to do it someday. Say I'm going to do it Thursday. I'm going to do it Monday. I'm going to do it Wednesday. Even if you have to put some things off. I'm not going to do it someday. I'm going to do it this particular day. Because those lazy thoughts. So when you see someone in a life of beggary and disgust, we know where that has come from. They're lazy in their thought life. These are people, and this is so funny to me. These are people who, when they dream, they even dream of lack. Now, you have the power of imagination, and these people are so lazy in their thinking that even in their dream life, even when they fantasize small. They dream small. I have the ability to create anything that I want to create in my imagination. So I'll create in my mind an extra $100 in my paycheck. No, if I want to dream, then I'm going to dream of becoming a billionaire. But when you're lazy in your thinking, though that thought process, that thought life crystallizes into habits of unseemliness and dishonesty. Appreciate that, Rodney. That thought life, lazy thinking, crystallizes in dishonesty. Y'all think about that for a second. Because you're lazy in your thinking, you don't want to spend time trying to come up with a solution. So now you're dishonest. You're starting to lie to yourself about how comfortable you are in your current life because you're too lazy to think of a way to overcome the situation. So you rationalize about being comfortable in the situation. Stop lying to yourself. You can get comfortable in the situation, but let's be real, most of us aren't comfortable in our situation. You can get comfortable there. You can find comfort there, right? You can acknowledge that you're in a situation that you have to find comfort in. That doesn't mean you have to accept that as your situation. You do have to acknowledge it, but you don't have to accept that. Meaning you come to terms with this being a permanent state for you. No, I acknowledge that I have a negative net worth and I'm climbing myself out of the hole, but I don't accept that for one bit. I'll be a billionaire in less than 10 years. Right? See, a person who's lazy in their thinking can't even fathom becoming wealthy. Can't even fathom making more money than they could ever spend in a lifetime because they're lazy in their thinking, right? And that leads to dishonesty. And the number one place that we are dishonest is being dishonest with ourselves. So we start telling ourselves all kinds of lies to justify our lazy thinking. And that ends up, it solidifies in circumstances of disgust and beggary. Right? Two more. We just got two more, man. Two more. Hateful and condemnatory thoughts crystallize in habits of accusation and violence, which solidify into circumstances of injury and persecution. This is, I hope you guys are getting this because you're seeing this stuff manifest in the lives of people you know. You're seeing this, but you didn't realize this was coming from a particular thought process. Some of us might be seeing this in our children, and now we can step in and say, hey, I know why you're manifesting this in your life, so let's fix your thought process. Let's fix your thought life. Some of us are seeing this stuff manifest in our lives right now, but until this moment, you didn't realize that I'm creating all of this because of my habitual thought life. So when we tell people you got to shift your mindset to shift your income, you might have to shift your mindset to shift a bunch of other stuff too. Your habitual thought life is crystallizing into circumstances or solidifying into circumstances that you currently, present day, live in. If you do not like the circumstances that you live in present day, you have to think about your habitual thought life. That's what it is. I lost Facebook. All right, we'll see if Facebook will jump back on. Hateful and condemnatory thoughts crystallize into habits of accusation and violence, and they solidify into circumstances of injury and persecution. Injury and persecution. So when you see people living in these circumstances, life has beat them down, and they are in just dire straits, and they are always condemning others. What you remember, the words that come out of your mouth, you're the first to hear. So as you're condemning others, you are also condemning yourself. And that's what you got to get. I don't know what's going on with Facebook this morning. Let me see if I turn my Wi-Fi off for now. Does that help? Maybe not. It's kind of how Facebook usually does. When I get to dropping that fire, I don't think the Wi-Fi connection and the cables and the signal, I think they actually literally catch on fire, and they can't support the words that are coming out of my mouth. All right, let me turn this back on and see if that fixes it. Because I don't want to finish it just in case it pops back on. There we go. Sorry about that, Facebook. I don't know what be happening. Pierre said I had to jump over here. yeah, Pierre. When I start dropping that fire every now and then, Facebook can't handle it. Facebook can't handle it. So he said Facebook is still down. So it popped back on for a second. I don't know what the deal is. We'll see if it pops back on. Nevertheless, hateful and condemnatory thoughts crystallize into habits of accusation and violence, which solidify into circumstances of injury and persecution, right? And then last but not least, selfish thoughts of all kinds crystallize into habits of self-seeking, which solidify into circumstances more or less distressing. So when you see somebody living in distressing circumstances, you know without a shadow of a doubt that that's somebody who is selfish in their thoughts. They're living a life in distress. Where does that come from? It comes from a life of self-seeking. It comes from a life of selfish thought process and selfish thinking, right? That's big. That's big. If you live someone living a life in distress, here's where it comes from. So there's no such thing as a secret thought. So now that we know that, you can take this model and you can take this map, and every time based on the circumstance somebody is living in, you can know instantly what their thought process is. So let's go back. They're living a life of distress, then you know that their thought process, their habitual thought process, is one of selfish thinking, right? If you see someone living a life of injury and persecution, then you know that their thought process, that's a manifestation of a hateful and condemnatory thought process. That's their thought life. You see somebody living in circumstances of disgust and beggary, then you know they have a lazy thought life. People who are living in failure, indigence, and slavish dependence, We know that those people have a thought life full of fear, doubt, and indecision. These are, you can look at how somebody's life circumstances are and determine what their habitual thought life is based on the circumstances that they're living in. Destitution and disease, we know that they have bestial thought life. Distracting and adverse circumstances, we know that that's someone whose thought life is impure for the most part. Does it make sense? So let's recap all 7 of them real quick, and then we'll wrap up today's show. And I want to give you that. Let me give you this quote before we recap. So this quote is by O.S. Martin. It says, "Our destiny changes with our thought. We shall become what we wish to become, do what we wish to do, when our habitual thought corresponds with our desire." Powerful, powerful quote. See, it's the habitual thought, right? That's why meditation is so powerful. That's why prayer is so powerful, right? It's the habitual thought. It's the habitual thought. It says, our destiny changes with our thought. We shall become what we wish to become, do what we wish to do, when our habitual thought corresponds with our desire. Try to think about that for a second. Does your habitual thought correspond with your desire? The things that you're thinking on all the time, does that correspond with the things that you desire? Or is your thought life an actual contradiction to that which you desire? A lot of us don't understand the power in that. Everything starts in the mind, man, right? Holds the key to our destiny. You're absolutely right, Jay. But most of us say we want one thing, but our thought life is constantly meditating on the opposite. And the universe only knows how to say yes to your habitual thought life. The things that you speak and think of with emotion attached to it, emotion-filled affirmations and confirmations are what activate the subconscious mind. And if you have a fearful thought life, chances are you're thinking on why you're afraid of this, that, and the other with a tremendous amount of emotion. And that's activating your subconscious mind to manifest or solidify circumstances to validate your habitual thought life. So, bestial thoughts crystallize into habits of drunkenness and sensuality, which solidify into circumstances of destitution and disease. You know somebody who is living a circumstance of destitution and disease in their life? They are bestial in their habitual thought process, their habitual thought life. Impure thoughts of every kind crystallize into innovating and confusing habits, which solidify into distracting and adverse circumstances. Know somebody in adverse circumstances? Impure life. Impure life. Or impure habitual thoughts. Thoughts of fear, doubt, and indecision crystallize into weak, soft, and irresolute habits, which solidify into circumstances of failure, indigence, and slavish dependence. Anybody living a life of failure? They're struggling with a thought life full of fear, doubt, and indecision. Lazy thoughts crystallize into habits of unseemliness and dishonesty, which solidify into circumstances of disgust and beggary. No, people got a habit of being dishonest. Comes from a lazy thought life. And they'll live a life. They will manifest circumstances of disgust and beggary. Hateful and condemnatory thoughts crystallize into habits of accusation and violence. We all know people like that, always accusing somebody else of something, right? Because of the problems that they have internally, right? People always lashing out. Why? Because these are people who have hateful thoughts constantly. They meditate on hateful things. Selfish thoughts of all kinds crystallize into habits of self-seeking, which solidify into circumstances more or less distressing. People are living in distress because they're selfish. I said they're living in distress because they're selfish. So now you can identify these signs in people that come into your life. And if you have the capacity or the will to want to help them, you'll know how. But this is more so for yourself first and foremost, but then for your family, your loved ones, so you can identify these signs. And you can't really beat someone up to make them change and all that kind of stuff, but you could say, you know what? This is what's manifesting in your life. Here's why. If you want to do a test and try to see how this works, I want you to think on these thoughts versus the ones that you currently have now and see if your circumstances don't change, right? These are serious, serious things. And when you think and meditate on these negative things, those are the circumstances that you're creating in your life. So tomorrow, we're going to do the positive version of that. And you're going to see people who you're going to be able to recognize the thought life and the thought patterns and the habitual thought life of people who literally are living a life that you want to live, but you can't quite put your finger on how to make it happen. You're going to see what their thought life is. You're going to see what their habitual thought patterns are, so that if you want to manifest this in your life, you have to change your thinking to start thinking on some of these things habitually. Not one positive thought today, and then the rest of your day is filled with negative thoughts of hatefulness and dishonesty and bestial thoughts, because you're going to keep manifesting those circumstances. You need to learn the thought process of people who have what you want to have, so you can learn how to meditate on those thoughts and transform your life. So again, today's show was brought to you by the Black Billionaires Club and the Generational Wealth Building Conference going down in Atlanta, GA, April 6th through the 8th. They got something for everybody, literally, guys. So you want to definitely be in the building. If you can make it, go to wealth.joincorteznow.com. wealth.joincorteznow.com. And you can literally transform your life by attending that event. You can buy tickets for the whole weekend pass, or you can buy individual tickets for that which you want. Also, if you're interested in the Black Wealth Movement, it doesn't get any easier to understand wealth building principles and strategies. On top of that, you get coaches, mentors, systems that you can plug into that can help you execute the game plan. What is the game plan? We help you start a home-based business. That home-based business is going to help you minimize your taxes. You're going to take those tax savings and use that to eliminate your debt. Once your debt is gone, now you take the tax savings and the interest you was paying on those debts, and you use that money to start investing and earning interest so you can transform your life financially. And for most of us, when we transform our lives financially, we transform our lives in many, many, many other areas as well. So that is the focus of the Black Wealth Movement. And eventually, we start transforming enough individual people's lives, we will ultimately transform communities, we will transform this nation, we will even transform the world. So I'm your boy, H Cortez, the one and only financial health mentor to the Black community, everybody's favorite fatherpreneur. Until I talk to you tomorrow, I want you to get your money up because you absolutely can do it. But more importantly, you deserve to do it, each and every one of you. Peace out, y'all.